munhu anogona kubvisa president kana Zanu isina kufotora. Ukaenda kuparliament uchifunga kuti unobatana nevamwe weti hamene hanzi zvinonzi impeachment, kunomonyorwa tsamba yekukurikola toita by-election. Hazvibvire maitiro atakaita mutemo wacho. Anotora chinzvimbo, anotora kana Zanu yati yes. Ndosaka chairman vati simba riri kuZanu.
Hello, gorgeous people. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Uncensored with Rumbi. All right, so I just want to say to everyone, shout out. Let me tell you, the family is growing. So for those who subscribed, like for the past few days, I just want to say hello to you and say thank you very much for joining the family. And if you just passed through for the first time, I'm asking you to also subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you ring the bell because every time I drop a video, you'll be the first one to be notified. So Zimbabwe is very close to having their 2023 general elections in August. And they're already looming of impeachment from ZANU-PF, the ruling party. So Mr. Ziyambi Ziyambi threatens some of ZANU-PF officials that should you plan to impeach Mr. Mnangagwa, you face the wrath from the party leadership. And our next story, we're going to be looking at delivery of 18 helicopters out of 32, which were purchased by the Zimbabwean government from Russia for 320 million. For this and more, guys, please stay tuned.
Ukaenda kuparliament hakuna munhu anogona kubvisa president kana Zanu isina kufotora. Ukaenda kuparliament uchifunga kuti unobatana nevamwe weti hamene hanzi zvinonzi impeachment, kunomonyorwa tsamba yekukurikola toita by-election. Hazvibvire maitiro atakaita mutemo wacho. Anotora chinzvimbo, anotora kana Zanu yati yes. Ndosaka chairman vati simba riri kuZanu. Vamwe vese kudiployiwa kuhurumende neZanu. Saka toda spirit yekuti tinohwina maelection. Vasizwa?
All right, guys, so you just heard it from Mr. Ziyambi Ziyambi. Now, I think the worst part is that there wasn't really, some agreement from the people as he was speaking, because I felt like there were threats, literally threatening people who were mature enough to be fathers. And some are actually fathers, some are grandfathers, some are uncles. You know, one thing that shocks me about what goes down in Zimbabwe is that people don't even realize how important it is to respect each other. People don't realize that before politics and before positions, a person is actually human. People don't realize the impact that these men have towards their families, that the very same men are husbands and they have to raise their kids. The very same men, some of them are brothers that have expectations from their sisters. It's that lack of humanity and the lack of familyhood that we have completely lost. People are so obsessed with material things, far beyond respect of humanity. You know, I'm looking at Mr. Ziyambi Ziyambi talking to men like he's talking to kids. You know, forget about employment, because even in any form of employment, there must be some form of respect. Are you guys surprised that men are becoming weak by day? And this is not out of respect, but really out of respect, because there's a lot going on in our society that the leadership of men, the protection that they need to offer their wives and kids, the women around them, is completely gone. Why? Because every day there's political playing around every corner, which is extremely, extremely toxic. I do remember this when I traveled to Zimbabwe. I'm talking to someone and she said this to me. I remember this. She said to me, I should switch off my VPN. Then I said to her, why should I do that? She said, because you never know. People may be following you. They may be following you when you're on the plane. And I was like, following me? On what grounds? Like me? Of all the people. Yeah, I remember I said to him, my phone that I have right now that I'm using, my iPhone 14 Pro Max, I bought it with my hard-earned money. I've never been a human that move around being scared of someone. I'm not afraid of human beings because they didn't send me to fulfill purpose. Neither do I go after them. I've never been. I'm a person who believes in hard work. And I said to her, I will not do that. I'm not going to switch off my VPN. I'm going to live my life freely and happily because I'm here to live, right? Is that mentality of always intimidating each other. People are being intimidated, but instead of saying, what are your concerns? How can we talk? What are some of the problems that we are facing that we can resolve? Imagine, there were not even responses from most of them, literally. They were just quiet. We are becoming a society that don't even know how to communicate in love. Did we ever ask ourselves where we are going right now? It is very scary to watch. It's the disrespect. And the other thing that shocks me is that he's talking about elections that is coming August. He said after elections. Now the question is, how do you know if you're still going to be in leadership? So what is the point of having elections if you know that you already have the victory? Is that culture, the culture of abuse that we don't want to live? We do this all the time. It is sad to watch. And the question is, where are we going as a country? Where are we going as a people? If we don't realize the importance of respecting each other, if we don't realize the importance of respecting people's will, because you don't even know, people haven't voted yet, but you already claim victory, bashing everybody. But here's the thing, we are also claiming victory. So we don't know about the impeachment you are referring to. It may not happen. There may not be no impeachment, so chill, relax. Shh. God is able. God is able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above and beyond what we can ever ask or think. So shh, Mr. Ziyambi Ziyambi, relax. God is able. All right, so moving right along to our next story, please. All right, so like I said to you before, Zimbabwean government received 18 out of 32 helicopters from Russia, which they claim were purchased for $320 million US.
We appealed to access and purchase this equipment. We were accepted. And today, we have these 18 helicopters here. Zimbabwe and the region around us, in particular Mozambique and Malawi, are prone to cyclones. When these attack us because we don't have capacity, we try to beg from those countries who have capacity. Yes, of course, we have South Africa, our neighbor here. They have capacity, they come and help us. But today we stand tall with these helicopters because when these cyclones strike us again, look at this capacitation. We are witnessing this capacitation in the area of both health and national parks, wildlife conservation and management facility. We also have about 6 helicopters which we are going to assign to the police for maintenance of law and order. But most importantly, we now know that Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Botswana, Zambia, Malawi, our surrounding neighbors, Namibia, if they are struck by any disaster, we shall be there to assist.
All right, guys, so one of the subjects that I loved in school was actually maths, and I was very good at it. Trust me, it was one on at the school that I was definitely quite a mathematician. So when I heard about the numbers, $320 million US, I told you that I did it right to the internet to do my research, right? But then when I started doing the calculations based on the information that I got on the internet, I was flabbergasted. So as per the report, so one helicopter costed Zimbabwe about 10 million US dollars, one helicopter. But I told you that I did my research, which means we need to be gauging between 1 million to about 2 million, or even a little bit over 2 million, which means we can also work from 1 to 3 million. So when we compare with the 10 million US dollars and the 3 million US dollars, the difference is too huge. Because even if a person has to put a markup on top of it and also considering the transport of it, these numbers don't align. The gap is too much, like 3 times the amount of a helicopter. I may be wrong, but these are my own analysis and research. And I also heard my colleagues saying exactly the same thing, that full play in terms of the numbers, again, corruption. You know, what can we say? There's always corruption. Every time, there's always corruption. And I've said it, that I would say that most of the people that are just around the president, they're there because they know that they're busy looting, correct? Yes, that's why they force the president there. They're not running a country like Zimbabwe. It's a lot of work because the country is a mess. It requires manpower. It requires intelligence. It requires, hard work. You know what I mean? So people just going to everything. There's always purchase after purchase after purchase. One of the things that I questioned is, guys, the police, I mean, they don't even have cars. We've seen many times where police officers are literally getting into a taxi, like what we call it a combi, right? Yes, we call it a taxi. Yeah. And you see them walking in the streets. Their uniforms, most of them are very old. So then we already have, planes. They're very expensive to maintain. I'm going to be honest. There's nothing wrong to have them, but if we have other stuff, which means the necessities, then we can also look at luxury. To me, it's like it's luxury. Maybe we could have considering buying ambulances, make sure that all our hospitals are equipped, our government officials are being paid well, and then we can look at the luxury part. But we have the luxuries, but we don't have the basics. That's where many people are asking questions. So again, another looting scandal, aren't we? But it's my numbers. You guys can also do your own numbers. I may be wrong, and please I stand to be corrected. So comment in the comment section below if you know that my numbers are incorrect. If you know that I'm wrong, but these are my numbers and I know that I'm right. Because my buddies are also still saying the same thing, that the numbers don't really make sense. But what can we say? Zimbabwe for you. I can't really wait to see what God is going to have for our country. But I'm praying, I hope you do, because we want to have a Zimbabwe for all and a better Zimbabwe, that we can all sit down and really, rub heads and just share ideas, sit around the table, come up with, some ideas, and we have to cross-check them and maybe prayerfully and you make decisions. I'm waiting for that day. So guys, this is all that I have for you today, and please stick around with me. I love you all. See you in my next upload. God bless you. Oh, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Make sure your bell is on, because every time I drop, you are in with me. And we've got so many stories to talk about. So later on. See you later.